given the circumstances under which it has occurred, as we are making our fair contribution in peace support operations in Somalia. We shall be counted among those who will walk with their heads high to have made peace happen in the Horn of Africa, African Union.
The forces were implored to double their efforts in pursuance of peace and stability in the region. The National Resistance Movement Party has vowed to reclaim Buganda's sub-region that was swept by opposition National Unity Platform in the recent parliamentary elections. The NRM National Vice Chairperson for Central Uganda, Godfrey Chiwanda, underscores the need to act on what he describes as a message sent by Ugandans. This was during celebrations to congratulate President Yoweri Museveni upon successfully swearing in, where it was revealed that the focus will be on manifesto implementation. Details follow.
The swearing in by President Yoweri Museveni on Wednesday did not only excite those in attendance at Kororo Independence Grounds, but his supporters across the country. Leaders and supporters of National Resistance Movement in Kiboga district were relieved following earlier reports by the opposition of attempting to stop the presidential swearing in.
People thought that whatever they were hearing about Tajja Mulaira, he will not be sworn in, was serious, and they were worried. But now that the president was sworn in Kororo and in a very peaceful way, it is cause for joy.
But behind this success lies serious tasks, including reclaiming Buganda, that was largely swept by the opposition in the recent parliamentary elections.
So I want to assure the people of Buganda in Central Region that as National Resistance Movement, we are not going to get annoyed over this, but we are going to do everything possible to liberate this region.
I can assure you that we are going to remobilize the country, particularly in the center here, and even the opposition which is cropping up its head will not be able to sustain their small win here in Central.
Reclaiming Buganda may not be enough without improved service delivery. This is why such efforts have to be complemented by effective manifesto implementation.
We shall mount a very big drive to fight poverty, to create wealth, and be able to teach people the ideology of NRM so that Uganda can continue making progress.
For example, our principle of socio-economic transformation. We will sing that, we will put it in the manifesto until we see homesteads transformed.
So for those who have actually understood this and they planted the seed, they've actually benefited. So I cannot agree that we've done nothing, we've moved and we are still moving.
President Yoweri Museveni was sworn in on Wednesday, 12th May 2021 for another 5-year presidential term. His message centered on socio-economic transformation and Pan-Africanism. Henry Okurut, UBC.
A police officer in Gulu City has been shot dead. The Aswa River Region Police Constable Onechan Simon Court, who belongs to the Field Force Unit in Gulu, was shot dead at Peace Lukung along Moroto Road. However, the deceased gun was recovered with 30 rounds of ammunition at the scene of crime.
Constable attached to the Field Force Unit in Gulu has been gunned down. The regional police spokesperson David Yongom Modondo says the deceased, identified as Onechan Okot, was shot down at around 2 a.m.
The motive of the killers is not yet clear. It is because you would imagine even the gun of the officer was not taken, even his phone was intact with him. So it makes it a little bit questionable, but of course our detectives are widening the investigations we pray that the outcome yields fruit. Yeah, the body was evacuated from the scene to Mugalu Regional Referral Hospital for postmortem.
The residents also expressed their fear due to the deteriorating security in their area and across Gulu City.
After that, I hear people, I hear that voice shouting very loud.
It reminds us a lot because for us we are born during the times of LRA, so we feel so bad about it. It doesn't happen every day, but sometimes.
A resident identified as Chika Brian wants security to clean up the city that is now overwhelmed by rogue streets gangs, locally known as AGU.
I think that we have seen the gunshot that happened tonight on one of the police who was on duty. I suggest the government have to try to be serious on these street kids and see where they can be taken and being protected properly, because they are growing so they are the people coming to do things which are not good in the society. Feel so sad, and it makes us now feel so fearful to move in the night. Gulu general as the city is now dangerous to cause a serious threat in our lives as the citizen of Uganda also general. So it needs to be undertaken seriously.
The deceased hailed from Ramo district.
Paris said news, and we pray that the Lord strengthens the family of the deceased. In more stories, the police in KAYUNGA carrying out an operation aimed at retrieving the body of a child allegedly sacrificed by its own father. The prime suspect, known as Mbwira, allegedly killed his 2 children in a suspected sacrificial ritual. We have a detailed report on this devastating story. Police in KAYUNGA is holding a man suspected to have killed his 2 children in a botched-up child sacrificial ritual. The prime suspect, only known as Mbwire, walked police and the media in the bushes, trying to locate the remains of one of the children in vain. The police then suggested taking Mbwire to his home so that he draws a mind map to locate the grave of his child. However, when all this failed, residents visibly aggrieved. Zezua Region spokesperson Helen Butoto says police will continue with its investigations.
Today, we've been with the victim. He is the father of the deceased. He has led us into this operation. We've searched everywhere. He has failed to trace the exact place where the deceased could have been buried. Our next step, we are still continuing with the investigations.
KAYUNGA District Police Commander Skovia Birungi says after compiling all the evidence in the murder case, the 2 suspects will be taken to court.
About child sacrifice, and we succeeded in getting the body of 1 child, much as the body of the 2nd child is missing. But in relation to that, we know this very body after postmortem will help us in prosecution.
The director, KAYUNGA Childcare Ministries, Peter Sewachirianga, says they'll endeavor to render help to police to ensure justice.
Work with police to support investigations on human sacrifice, and KAYUNGA is one of the capital red spots for us. What we've just seen is a typical scenario of human sacrifice and exhumations and killing of children a lot, and we support that process because police is overloaded with a lot of situations like this. But these are cases of interest to us. We support the families, we support the children, we make sure that these investigations are investigated thoroughly and scientifically, and where there is need of support, we support to make sure that these cases come to a logical conclusion and have justice.
acts of human sacrifice and murder in Kayunga district have for long been a common vice. Chigongo compiled this report. The House of Mwambu, who meant to produce the Muhuha of Baba MASAABA, and the General Assembly of INZU MASAABA have vetted and recommended Jude Mike Mudoma as the third Umuhuka of Baba MASAABA. Now the exercise follows a recent mediation by the Minister for Gender, Labour and Social Development, Frank Tumwebaze.
The MASAABA have settled on Jude Mike Mudoma as their third Umukuka. This follows the demise of Umukuka Bob Mushikori, who succumbed to COVID-19 early this year. The MASAABA cultural heads are picked from the three clans of Bugisu, locally known as Indayawanale, Mubuya, and Mwambu. Each of them are expected to choose a leader to reign for a non-renewable 5-year term. Wanale House took the first term under the leadership of Omukuka Wilson Weya Sawamimbi, followed by Mubuya with Sir Bob Mushikori, and it's now the turn of Indayawanale. The Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development, Frank Tumwebaze, searched the two factions of Wagabyarire and that of Jude Mike Mudoma to resolve the succession impasse that has been on since the demise of Umukuka Bob Mushikori. Members unanimously recommended Jude Mike Mudoma to be confirmed the third Umukuka of the MASAABA.
Kutangira Umukuka bwe MASAABA.
Sese Irina Wende ngokulira Budadiri County ifugirisana ni Mudoma Mike ngakuba umuguga wa MASAABA.
Ofuta na mwata na kimesi delegate we baginyanya ba MASAABA batobola Mudoma kasali kana kinafuna ta ba musala bulayi.
Umusakulu Mudoma niye engane ufutika kubache we kuboneka ngomuntu unyayatangirira.
The decision has been long overdue and had reportedly become a source of conflict after the untimely demise of Umukuka Bob Mushikori early this year.
The minister for this decision, because even if he declared me, people were still bickering. But when we went to Kampala, I presented my position, and they also did the same. Facts were exposed. It meant that I was the only person who was elected properly. But I came back here, not for election, but for confirmation. Did I really pass through the right channels? Did I really fulfill the requirements of what is required to be a Mukuka? There was a lot of entertaining the illegalities on the other side. But facts have been exposed now that I am the only person who followed the law.
Now, Makerere University is slated to hold a hybrid graduation next week. According to the Principal Communications Officer, Makerere University, only 1,577 of the 12,550 will physically appear at the university's Freedom Square for their graduation. Take a look.
University will next week hold its 71st graduation ceremony. The week-long graduation ceremony kicks off on Monday, 17th May 2021 and will be officiated by the University Chancellor Ezra Suruma.
Right now, if anyone looked at the Freedom Square, the tents are already up. And also what I'd like to say is that our different graduates are receiving the graduation gowns from the designated service providers.
The university spokesperson Rita Namisango says only 12% of the graduates will be physically present at the graduation, while others will attend virtually.
Everyone in the country knows that we have the COVID-19 pandemic, and as we organize the Makerere University 71st graduation ceremony, we have been requested as Makerere University to ensure that we strictly adhere to the COVID-19 prevention guidelines. So in this case, what it means is that we cannot have the 12,550 graduates in one place. We would like our dear parents, would like our graduates, and all Ugandans to remain safe. Only the following graduates have been requested to come and physically be present in the Freedom Square. That is our students who will be graduating with PhDs, students who will be graduating with master's degrees, and then students who are graduating with first class honors division degrees.
Before the COVID-19 pandemic broke out, each graduate would be accompanied by 2 guests, including parents or guardians, to the graduation ceremony. But due to COVID-19, this is not possible.
So now all the other graduates who are not in those categories, we kindly congratulate them, but we kindly request them to ensure that they follow the proceedings that will be live on NTV and live on UBC Radio, and also will be live streaming on all Makerere University social media pages.
I want to say that it is very absurd, very irrational, and very ridiculous. First of all, we have had many meetings of over 200, 400 students. For instance, you have come to Makerere, you have seen students discussing, why is it that we have not had a case where a student is suffering from COVID? Yes, we had a staggered learning manner. It has happened. Yes, but we also had physical lectures, and we attended these lectures. So how come we do not have any affected with COVID-19, and then someone says that we cannot have a physical graduation?
And the whole thing of us not having to come to the Freedom Square, it doesn't feel like you're graduating, because you have to stay home, wait for your name to be read on TV. I have to take an oath on TV, so it's not ideal, but that's what we have to do, and we just have to accept it.
Yeah, well, the entire feeling about this, the virtual idea of the graduation, is it's a bit saddening, especially for the parents, investing a lot of money and resources to educate children. At the end of the day, this is something they will be proud of, to be a part of, but it's sad they're not going to be here with us.
A virtual graduation, I really felt so bad. I couldn't even believe until I received the letter from the Senate saying that we have to graduate online, we shall not come here, which is not good.
I'm Assistant Commissioner of Police, Segirinya Frederick. I'm going to graduate with a Doctor of Philosophy and Education. I'm so grateful that this day has come. About the virtual graduation, we don't have any control over it. It happened globally. Nobody knew the cause of this coronavirus, but we are so grateful with the Makerere University that they have managed to organize this function.
The university plans to graduate 12,550 students in different areas of education. Only 1,577, which totals to 12% of the total population, will have a chance to step physically here at the famous Freedom Square for physical graduation. Sadam Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Thank you, Mbale. Well, just like the graduates are surprised and shocked, we're also surprised that there's going to be a virtual one, but we're glad and actually would love to congratulate you on passing that. Now, education experts in Kasese district have said schools with a poor learning environment stand chances of producing poor academic results. The district education officer, Kasese George Mainja, says academic failure in the district is due to the inability of students to sit in class properly. Now, this was at an event where over 300 desks, office tables and chairs were donated to selected schools in Kasese by Responsibility Renewable Energy Holding.
Kasese District Education Officer George Mainja has asked parents to embrace school feeding program and where possible give food to their children to enable them study well.
Where the learner is concentrating, the teacher is concentrating, the parent is providing lunch, then over time, then we expect good results.
Please, when talk of education, it is a collective effort. It's me and you to make these people be what they are.
This was at an event where 3,000 desks, office tables and chairs were donated to selected schools in Kasese by Responsibility Renewable Energy Holding.
Because where a child does not sit properly, he does not have a good writing posture. The moment you sit badly, you can't write properly, and you know, handwriting is a factor.
Paul Omabai of Responsibility Renewable Energy Holding says this was after an assessment of the critical needs of the benefiting schools.
Are 350 school desks. We are giving them to 4 local schools. We also have made 30 teachers' desks and teachers' tables and chairs, which we are also giving to these schools.
The chairpersons of Bulembeya Division and Kilembe Sub-County said the donation was timely and relief to children and teachers.
Because the furniture that the school had was washed away by Nyamwamba. And now that we are receiving some, it's a relief. It's a relief to us because we now know that our children are going to sit comfortably in the class.
The head teachers of benefiting schools thanked Responsibility Renewable Energy Holdings for the consignment because their furniture was recently swept away by recent floods.
It was my cry. In school, I'm having less than 100 desks. And now that I'm going to get more, I feel more privileged because my learners are going to sit very well.
At least now, my children are going to sit comfortably and also fight against the corona disease.
The judiciary has urged chief magistrates to allow elected local government councillors to take oath in the language they're comfortable with. This was communicated by the judiciary spokesperson Johnson Kalemani while commenting on the forthcoming swearing-in of the newly elected local government councillors, which will end on the 19th of May 2021.
Of the Almighty.
On several occasions, local government councillors have found it hard to take oath of allegiance and office in their elected positions in English, while emphasizing on the press release issued by the Chief Registrar Salalanga. The judiciary spokesperson Johnson Kalemani advised magistrates to allow councillors to take oath in the languages they are well versed with.
We shall be having our court officials who should help them in that swearing in the language that they understand better. Let them not be forced to swear in English when they don't know that language very well. It leads to embarrassment, which is not good.
Judiciary has on 58 chief magisterial courts, which are to conduct the swearing-in of over 2,000 councillors in 146 districts. According to Kalemani, this is likely to overwhelm magistrates in some districts.
That means that they are going to put aside all other cases that they were supposed to handle and concentrate on this exercise. But we remain too hopeful because with the incoming of our new law, the Judiciary Administration Act, and what it puts in place, including the budget, we do hope that in the near future, we shall at least improve in the areas.
Judiciary also highlights on the pending cases and parliamentary petitions in court filed against councillors and members of parliament who are yet to be sworn in.
So the members will swear and the petition will also go on. So it will all depend on what will be the outcome of the petition for the member to continue, or if the elections are annulled, it means the member has got to vacate the house. It also depends on whether he appeals or not.
According to judiciary, the swearing-in exercise will run for only 7 days and not exceeding 19th May 2021.
The law says that we should have these swearing-ins before the 19th, and the minister is saying it will have to take place up to the 28th. What we have got to bear in mind is that the law is not cast in stone. It always has exceptions, and that's why we are now calling upon them to work together with us We shall see how to harmonize that.
Following the registered 104 parliamentary petitions rising from 2021 elections by the judiciary in different court circuits, Kalemani says courts are stuck with these petitions.
We have only been waiting for the facilitation, which is supposed to come from the Ministry of Finance. The latest I picked was that they could have given some supplementary budget, which was handled by Parliament, and therefore now we await the finance to handle that component. And as soon as they avail the funds for that process, for us as judiciary, we have prepared enough and we are ready to hit the road and handle these petitions.
Local government councillors to swear in include district, city, sub-county councillors, and district female councillors representing persons with disabilities. Others are municipality councillors representing the youth, district, city female councillors representing workers, district city elected councillors, among others. Deborah Namamonde, UBC News.
Youth Action for Development has held an entrepreneurs hip and job creation awareness training at Magogo Sub-County Kamuli District aimed at eradicating poverty among Busoga youth and women, I beg your pardon. Now the training was aimed at skilling youth and women with business skills to enable them to manage and run their own businesses to ensure economic sustainability. Watch.
Youth Action for Development has advised the young generation to adapt a saving culture for the future investments and business development.
Kamuli District, where we've engaged the youth, more especially those who have been mobilized to go and demonstrate against the swearing in the president, and we've engaged them in entrepreneurship skills, saving culture, and group work and dynamics. So today we held a workshop at this sub-county headquarters for them to learn more about government programs and how they can fight poverty within their homesteads and the community at large.
Mustafa Gabaza of Youth Action for Development urged the youth to exclude politics from development if they can stand and develop Soga sub-region.
Youth livelihood, women empowerment, Mugalu funds, Operation Wealth Creation, CDD funds, and the likes. For them, they just hear these things thinking that the president thinks about people of Kampala and Wakiso. That's why they voted against NRM. We as the YADI team, we are in the community to sensitize these people to get to know what is in place for them and what the NRM manifesto has been put in place for the youth and women to benefit from.
The district councillor-elect Magogo Sub-County, Namaboneo Peter, thanked Youth Action for Development for facilitating their training, which benefited many.
In Kamuli District, and I found them, they were extending their services to the sub-counties of Bulopa and Namasagali. So from there I picked also interest to call them to come and help me to give skills to my people. So I think using the other slogan of Taja Kulaira. So for us, we are using this opportunity. That's why you are seeing them, they are trained there, they are getting training there.
Participants, who were mainly youth and women from Kamuli, Buyende and Iganga district, received face masks, NRM t-shirts and various skills in different projects.
Government, through the Ministry of Teso Affairs, has injected close to 2 billion Ugandan shillings in the refurbishment of 8 dilapidated government-aided primary schools. This intervention is aimed at uplifting the standard and the enrollment of schools in Teso sub-region under presidential pledges. Details follow on this story.
The learning environment in Teso sub-region was temporarily shattered during the insurgency era, when most primary schools were used as shelter for internally displaced people. Government, through the Ministry of Teso Affairs, embarked on refurbishment program of the affected schools in the last financial year.
I was made the Minister of Teso Affairs, and one of my duties is to fulfill presidential pledges. So I had to budget and fulfill this pledge.
Kachumbala Primary School in Bukedia district is among the affected schools that was operating under difficult conditions for more than 10 years.
When I came here, I found a building which was dilapidated. The storm had blown the roof 3 times. So the remaining iron sheets, we agreed with the community, school management and PT executives to remove the remaining iron sheets and we put them into the store.
It has now been refurbished with a new classroom block, housing for classes, offices and a 5-stand pit latrine, solar, water harvesting technologies, and 8 desks at a tune of 250 million shillings in fulfillment of the presidential pledge.
This classroom block has added value to this school in particular, but it has added value to Bukedia in general. You realize that after commissioning this block, even the enrollment is going to rise.
Other schools that have received new facilities of the same type and teachers' quarters in Teso sub-region include Komi Boys, Kabera Pila Primary School, Kaler Primary School, Agule Omito Primary School, and Colon Primary School, among others.
Because as I talk now, some children have started transferring themselves to this school because of its beauty. Even performance, our children are now well motivated and they are ready to learn. Even the teachers are impressed, they are willing to teach very well. Our parents are also now having interest in the school since they have seen the school very nice.
Sincerely, we are very, very grateful and we pray that the government continues. We also pray for the President of Uganda, the Minister, and we also pray for the parents and other stakeholders. This is very good and wonderful.
The school's authorities have been tasked to put aside some small budget for the maintenance of the new structures.
Don't allow it to collapse, get dilapidated, waiting for the government to come in. So the PTA, the school team, and us, we should make sure that we look after these buildings, the furniture, and everything.
However, they are worried of the discretionary development equalization grant, a source of maintaining school project, was scrapped off.
All the funds have gone to the parish development model that all of us have heard about. So we are worried. This was the money that we were using for construction of classrooms, staff houses, and many other development projects.
As much as government is trying its efforts, parents have been partly blamed for poor standard of schools by not playing their role, as most of the children were seen walking bare feet in schools.
The time is going to come that we are going to go to school to be able to see which parent has failed to provide shoes. In this era, in this modern era, it is not those days whereby there are all the opportunities for everybody to allow the child. First of all, we are talking about quality education. How are you going to expect one child to perform well when the other children are teasing the child because one child is not putting on shoes? And forget about even slippers. We want shoes.
Parents attribute this to rising poverty levels in Teso sub-region.
Some parents cannot afford to buy shoes for them, even other sanitary pads for the young girls. That's why in most schools, girl child always drop at the early age when they start their periods. Most of the girls drop out of school because their parents at times cannot afford even to buy these sanitary pads for their girl child. And you find them, these girls go to school barefooted.
According to Uganda Poverty Assessment Report of 2016, 68% of people live under the poverty line in Teso sub-region. This prompted the Ministry of Teso Affairs to inject more than 5 billion shillings in micro-support projects that has seen most of the vulnerable people taking their children to other schools.
There are some farmers from Kidongole. We train those people, then they pay us money. That money we use for paying us to pay us our children the school fees.
When we sell our rice, we take our children to school, and that money has also helped us in fighting poverty. Like when a child falls sick, we have not been having a source of income, but this time, after, you can even sell cassava.
The project has now covered 30% of the parishes in Teso sub-region and is now on high demand by those who have not yet benefited. But the State Minister for Teso Affairs, Agnes Akirori Egonyu, says her ministry is constrained by the minimum budget that has not allowed her to roll out the project to the rest of the parishes.
We take long because we have so many competing priorities, and I cover the whole of Teso and also the resource envelope. But as Teso Affairs, as the minister in charge, we are committed to serving the people of Teso.
Egonyu wants an increase of the budget allocation to her ministry for better implementation of government projects.
Great improvement for Teso right there. Now, National Forestry Authority has partnered with National Water and Sewage Corporation in a campaign to plant 10 million trees across the country. In Kira Municipality, 1,000 trees are to be planted with an initiative spearheaded by National Water and Sewage Corporation. The Resident District Commissioner, Chira Isaac Kawanau, asserts that planting trees mitigates climate change challenges. We have a detailed report from Helen and Guita Benji.
Uganda's forest cover declined from 4.9 million hectares in 1990 to less than 1.8 million hectares in 2018, a reduction of 57% in just 25 years. This is an equivalent of an average loss of approximately 122,000 hectares per year. Now, National Water and Sewage Corporation is leading a 10 million tree planting campaign where Kira Municipality is among the key beneficiaries.
Nationally, we're running we're calling it the NWC Green Tree Evolution campaign, where we're targeted to plant a minimum of 10 million trees. We believe minimums are important, especially as a corporation, for protecting our water sources, but also securing the environment, where we draw most of our water. The way we're doing it as a corporation, we've decided to make sure that we utilize our customers to run this campaign. We believe it's a partnership between the corporation and the customers planting trees. So we are giving every customer a tree to plant, or every customer a number of trees to plant. So today we've been in Bulindo with Shimon Community Estates, where they have over 500 homes in the estate, and we are planting 1,000 trees within the estates. Each customer, each home will plant 2 trees, and also we've planted today at Shimon Demonstration School a number of trees. For the schools, we're partnering, we're encouraging schools to plant forests, not just trees. No.
The Resident District Commissioner, Kira Municipality, Isaac Kawanau, says tree planting in his area is timely due to mushrooming developments ongoing in the area.
We are so grateful for the National Water and Sewage Corporation of thinking of this important municipality. You are aware this is a special municipality. It is the fastest growing municipality in East Africa, so they have started this campaign here in our municipality. For us as leaders, as stakeholders, we are much willing and we have embraced this partnership because the way to go. You are aware what is life, but water works hand in hand with the protection of the environment. And one of the protectors of the environment, they are the trees. So the moment you don't have trees, then it means somewhere, somehow, the formation of this water will also be a challenge.
You know, as everyone knows, development and environmental conservation, the two do not merge. You need to forego one to have one stand. when you look at the setup in the division, you will see that it is a dormitory. It is housing. Everywhere you look at tiles, you look at flats, but the green is depleting at a very fast rate. So it is a campaign that has started from here. We are going to encourage everyone because this is life.
Shimon Demonstration School and Shimon residents were the first beneficiaries.
School budget, we already had the project of planting trees. So I believe that with the few resources we shall get, we shall maintain them, because this has been an opportunity of getting them in at a timely way, because we also had it in the future to plant trees. Therefore, we can't fail to maintain them.
The trees are categorized into two: fruit trees and shade trees. Helen Barbara Jizamba, Gloria Gwitabinji, reporting for UBC TV News.
Well, yes, there you have it, planting trees for climate change. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business stories. Don't move.
Kapo, you seem to be in a hurry. Where are you going to?
I'm going to pay URA visit.
But you can access URA online. Why pay a visit?
To know more about the Kakasa Business Solutions, namely digital tracking solution, the voluntary disclosure program, and electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, which have turned my business around. You know I need to be on top of my game to protect my empire. If you know, you know.
I too need to know what Kapo knows.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Senchu points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we love, because it's those things that bring us close together.
In efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
Well, welcome back from that short commercial break. In our business stories, the regional committee meeting in Kampala has tackled emerging and existing challenges in cross-trade in the East African region. Members who attended physically and virtually agreed that much has to be done to rid the region of non-tariff barriers. COVID-19 pandemic was singled out as the major impediment in fast-tracking the smooth flow of goods, services and people in the EAC.
As the East African Community partner states strive to facilitate trade through a seamless cross-border movement, an emerging bottleneck, the COVID-19 pandemic, is cited as the greatest challenge facing the community.
So once you cross the border, you find that you have to test again. Maybe you have tested just yesterday, then once you cross, you have to test for the second time. So now again, before you go back to your home country, you have to test again, and then once you reach the destination, you have to go to test. So one trip you have to test 4 times.
The issue of partner states putting different systems for testing, different timelines for recognition of the test results, the issue of different costs, the different requirements at the borders.
The cost implication of testing and retesting for coronavirus are directly linked to the rise in the cost of imported products from the EAC member states and from abroad.
Now, if you consider a small trader with a minimum capital, now having paid all these costs, and then those costs must be transferred in the goods which he is selling. So it is automatically that either the products will be more expensive to cover those costs, or the trader must enter into a loss.
There is a call for harmonization of the COVID-19 certificates and the testing processes.
The recommendation of the meeting has been that partner states need to sit and harmonize all these systems so that what applies in each of the partner states is the same as what applies across the region.
The issue of calibration standards for oil tankers plying the central corridor was also a matter of concern. In order to boost cargo traffic and expedite faster clearance of goods on the corridor, a mutual recognition of the calibration standards is emphasized.
Calibration also one of the standards. We have to agree mutual recognition that, for example, an oil tank coming from URT going to Uganda. So Uganda must recognize the calibration by Tanzania, and if it comes from the other side, Tanzania should also recognize.
On the spot was the Republic of South Sudan. The EAC newest member state blamed for violating the provisions of the Common Market Protocol over waiving visa fees for the Tanzanian, Rwandese and Burundian citizens while discriminating against Uganda and Kenya.
What we can see here is the Republic of South Sudan has to waive visa fees for the rest of the East African member states, in which we are not seeing the same.
But for Tanzania has been removed from South Sudan part, but now we're asking for the all partner state to remove visas, so to ease the free movement of trade in the region and free movement also of people.
Tanzania ilionyesha mfano kuanza kumuondolea visa South Sudan. Na yeye akatupa.
Tanzania waived visa fee for South Sudan citizens and South Sudan reciprocated.
Waonyeshe mfano kwa huyu mgeni aliyefika, waanze kuondoa wao alafu baadaye wapate reciprocity.
The periodic Regional Monitoring Committee meeting is the first in a series of EAC high-level trade and investment conferences slated for this month. These are the heads of the Trade Committee of East Africa Conference and the Sectoral Council for Trade, Industry, Finance and Investment Conference. Non-tariff barriers continue to affect the movement of goods and services in the East African region. It's unfortunate that when one barrier is sorted, another one seems to crop up, and that is exactly what the meeting in Kampala is trying to amicably resolve. Dennis Igor for UBC News in Kampala.
Newly installed St. Kudembe Market Chairperson Susan Kushabe has highlighted her intentions that aim at improving the standards of market vendors and traders. Kushabe believes that with collaboration and planning among stakeholders will deliver quality market and thus economic prosperity. Details follow.
For the past few years, issues at Uganda's markets, especially St. Kudembe, were characterized by wrangles that bordered on daily chaos. But upon government's intervention, sanity seems to have returned, and this after appointment of Susan Kushaba as interim chairperson of St. Kudembe Market.
Government zirina programs nyingi nenga programs ezo zikoma waggulu wansi tezituuka ng'ez'abakyala ez'abavubuka ez'abakadde kyova olaba nti zewanabemanda obukulembeze n'alowooza obukulembeze ng'owabakadde alina okukiikirirwa ow'abavubuka akiikirirwe ow'abakyala bakiikirirwe kwegamba olina okuba n'obukulembeze obuyinamu enkizo obuyinamu obukola sense eri abantu.
Kushaba wishes for political goodwill to enable working relations between the traders that cite deliberate delays that increases taxes.
Abantu baagala boostinga business zaabwe bwegamba ku musuubuzi bw'osanga omusuubuzi ajja ebintu ebweru bwakutendera ennaku ye naye omusaasira wafuuka damage zafuuka damage n'oli n'agenda okusasula omusolo ne bamugamba netiwaaka teriiko naye nga ddala netiwaaka ebeerako kubanga baba bamufunamu nti mu warehouse ebintu gye biri buli lunaku abaabisasulira.
During her tenure, Kushaba plans improvement on some markets, including Kiswa and Kinawataka, that are lacking in basics like health facilities. She also plans to engage government on the future of markets like Chireka and Nakawa that are to be affected by developments like highways and the rail network.
And right now we're going to get to see what happened or what is in history today.
Today in history.
Arsenal's 2003-2004 team will always stand apart from the rest as the Invincibles. The Invincibles is the name given to the Arsenal team which won the 2003-2004 Premier League on 15th May 2004. The reason for the nickname is that they went unbeaten in their 38 league matches. They won 26 games and drew 12. The team is mostly remembered for its attacking genius. Thierry Henry was at the peak of his powers and finished second in the Ballon d'Or voting of 2003 and fourth in 2004. And while Bergkamp was nearing the end of his career, he had not lost his brilliant movement or vision. And that day was today in history.
In chess, the small one can become the big one. It's the same here. And here too. Watch every move. Record every number so you can plan better. No matter the size of your dream, tomorrow's success belongs to those who keep today's records clean. File your returns today.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
From the international scene, we go to China, where after around 3 months of orbiting Mars, China's Tianwen-1 probe landed safely on the red planet Saturday morning, marking another milestone in China's space program. Tianwen fast probe lander and rover first separated from the orbiter on their way to the surface of the red planet. Chinese scientists said the descent and landing only took about 9 minutes. But they said it was the most challenging part of the mission. After descending, the lander-rover combination finally touched down in the designated landing area, the southern part of Utopia Planitia, a large plain on Mars. China's mission to Mars was officially set up in 2016. During the whole operation, China's National Space Administration has worked closely with the European Space Agency and other organizations from countries like Argentina, France, and Austria. Chinese engineers and scientists said the valuable experience gained this time around will pave the way for the country's future missions into space. Now, the lander is expected to deploy a ramp for the rover Zhurong in the coming days before rolling out on Mars and start exploring. The rover is designed to work there for at least 90 Martian days. Tianwen, first consisting of an orbiter, a lander, and a rover, was launched from the Wenchang spacecraft launch site on the coast of southern Chinese island province of Hainan on July 23rd, 2020. As the football family nears elections for the next Federation of Uganda Football Association's president, another preliminary election has been concluded. This was for Uganda Premier League and Big League clubs and was conducted at the Federation headquarters in Mengo. Watch.
State Minister for Youth and Children Affairs, Florence Nakiwala-Kiyinji, has returned unopposed as Federation of Uganda Football Association's third vice president. This election cements her as Uganda's most celebrated female football administrator, with this being her second term at VP level and the only woman ever that high.
This is no mean achievement, especially when you are unopposed. It means that people are contented and they believe that you're the person who can steer the mantle. So my honors now is one, to continue opening up the opportunity bank to ensure that people can access as many opportunities as possible. I have been approached more often than not. Passports, rapid response when it comes to government framework. Rapid response is always natural. Players who need passports, players who need contracts with pitch owners. Players who want to some people were stuck in other countries and they wanted to get back at the earliest opportunity, and then again board back the visas. So it is a whole family, the regulator, the government, the sponsor, the player, and everybody must come on board. We should all bring our talents. Don't fear out there thinking that you never played football as a person. No, we all need each other if we are to remain excellent as we are.
Election for big league clubs was determined at regional level, with Hassan Kirunda representing Eastern and Northeast. Vincent Aniku came through West Nile and Northern, while Peter Byamukama from Western and Kitara. For Kampala, Umaru Senoga is in, while Joseph Mwanje represents Buganda big league clubs. This now brings the total of delegates to 88, and now Uganda waits for elections on August 21st in Mbale to usher in the latest FUFA president. John Barnes, Sentamo, reporting.
Well, that brings us to the end of our UBC News Tonight at 10 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha with Mugalu, Mohammed and Sign Language from the team, and I have a lovely night and a great Sunday. Bye.
Hello there, I'm Sharon Nakajiri today with the weather report from Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Now taking a good look at the information we've gathered from various stations across the country. We had Jinja reporting the highest amount of rainfall of 13 millimeters. Entebbe reported 4.2. As for Gulu, it was 3.4 millimeters. And the satellites show that Mascarenes is pushing the rain-bearing clouds away from our country, Uganda. We also have a deep low that is sucking all the moist winds that would form some rain in our country, Uganda. We expect a reduction in rains tomorrow, that we are forecasting light rains along Lake Victoria, and in the eastern parts of the country elsewhere we shall have sunny intervals. Later on in the day we shall have a pickup of light rains over most parts of the country apart from Kotido and Moroto, where we are forecasting sunny intervals. Temperatures are expected to rise up to 30 degrees Celsius Celsius in Kotido and Moroto. As for Kampala, we are forecasting 26 degrees Celsius, while for Jinja and Tororo, we shall have temperatures going up to 28 degrees Celsius. For Kabale Highlands, we are forecasting 22 degrees Celsius. For international weather forecast, it will be bright and sunny in Dubai and Hong Kong, and Nairobi will have sunny intervals. As for New York, we are forecasting light rains, temperatures rising up to 22 degrees Celsius. That nicely concludes our weather forecast today. Till tomorrow, have a great week ahead of you.